from Cedarburg Public Library Radio.
Welcome to Radio Storytime on CPL Radio. Today's theme is Once Upon a Time. Hi, I'm Mrs. K.
And I'm Miss Heidi.
The golden age of radio reached its peak during a rough patch in history. This period of time was called the Great Depression. During this time of financial hardship, many families had to do without a lot of essential things and most luxuries.
Even though families couldn't afford to make payments on possessions such as vehicles or appliances, many tried very hard to make payments on their radios. Why were radios so important to families during this time? Mostly, radio was an escape from everyday troubles.
Radio offered a variety of entertainment. Music shows, family programs, comedies, and dramas allowed families to enjoy themselves. The shows offered peace and happiness to those who had fallen on hard times. If even just for a short time, radio helped families come together and forget about their troubles.
What better way to celebrate the peak of old-time radio than to enjoy some fairy tales? Fairy tales allow readers and listeners to escape to new worlds where characters take them on exciting adventures. So sit back and put your troubles aside as we escape to Once Upon a Time.
Our first story is The Three Little Pigs, retold by Kath Jewett, published by Paragon Books, read by Mrs. K. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who lived in a cozy cottage on a hill. They loved to eat all the delicious food that their mother made for them every day. They ate so much that it wasn't long before the three little pigs had grown so big that there was no room for them in the cozy cottage anymore. "I'm sorry," said the mother one morning, "but it's time you made your own way in the world." So, the very next day, the three little pigs left home. "Don't forget to watch out for the big bad wolf," called their mother as she waved goodbye. "He'll eat you for supper, so you'll need to build a big, fine, strong house as quickly as you can to keep him away." "Don't worry, Ma," they oinked. "We can look after ourselves." And the three little pigs trotted down the hill, each taking a different path. It wasn't long before the first little pig met a farmer pulling a cart filled with straw. "May I please buy some straw to build a house?" asked the little pig. "Of course," said the farmer, "but a straw house won't be very strong." But the little pig didn't listen. Soon he was busy stacking the bundles of straw for his new house. In no time at all, the house of straw was finished, and the little pig went inside for a nap. He had just shut his eyes when there was a knock at the door. It was the big bad wolf, and he was hungry. Little pig, let me in," growled the wolf. "No," cried the little pig, "not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," laughed the wolf. And that's just what he did. Meanwhile, the second little pig was walking along the road when he saw a woodcutter piling up sticks. "Please, may I buy some sticks?" he asked politely. "I want to build a house." "Of course," answered the woodcutter, "but a house made of sticks will soon fall down." But the second little pig wasn't listening. He was much too busy planning his new stick house. Soon the house was finished. The little pig had just sat down to rest when there was a knock at the door. It was the big bad wolf. He was even hungrier now. Little pig, let me in," he growled. "No way! Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin," cried the second little pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," cried the wolf. And that's exactly what he did. Meanwhile, the third little pig had met a builder. "May I please buy some bricks to build my house?" he asked. "Of course," replied the builder. "A fine, strong house of bricks will last forever." The third little pig took the builder's advice. He would build the strongest house in the land. Finally, after a hard day's work, the house was finished. It had 4 strong walls of brick, a tiled roof, a sturdy wooden door, and a large fireplace with a chimney. The third little pig had just put down a pot of turnips on a fire to boil when he saw his brothers running down the road, closely followed by the big bad wolf. "Quick!" cried the third little pig. "Hide in here!" The wolf, who was very hungry by now, banged on the sturdy door. Little pigs, let me in," he growled, his tummy rumbling very loudly with hunger. "No way, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chins," cried the 3 little pigs. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," laughed the wolf. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed. The brick house stood. The wolf was furious. He climbed up onto the roof and he shouted down the chimney, "If I can't blow your house down, I'll come down the chimney and I'll gobble you all up." But the big bad wolf jumped, and he landed with a huge splash in the pot of turnips boiling on the fire. He leaped up with a scream and he ran out of the house, never to be seen again. And the 3 little pigs lived happily ever after in the house made of bricks. The end. Now a word from our sponsor.
This is Miss Heidi from the Youth Services Department of CPL. February is flying by, but there is still a lot happening in the library. Congratulations to our winter reading winners, David F. and Owen H. National Fairy Tale Day is February 26th. In honor of this fun day, our next Grab and Go will be filled with all things fairy tales. You can get yours on Thursday, February 25th, while supplies last. Don't forget to grab some fun fairy tale books as well. A new 5-minute flannel story will be available Friday, February 26th on our YouTube channel. Enjoy a short flannel story in the comfort of your home. If you missed last month's story, it is still available to watch. Now, here's Mrs. K to tell you about a wonderful reading program offered at CPL.
Thanks, Miss Heidi. 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten is a wonderful program that promotes early literacy. Reading to a child will help them develop the pre-reading skills that help build a solid reading foundation. Did you know that just by reading 3 stories a day, you and your child will have read over 1,000 books in 1 year? Registration for the 1,000 Books program is easy. Stop by the Youth Services desk to sign up and receive your reading packet and instructions. Registration is ongoing with no end date other than your child entering kindergarten. Now back to our program.
Our second story is The Knight Who Said No by Lucy Rowland, published by Nosy Crow, an imprint of Candlewick Press. Read by Miss Heidi. Once inside a castle lived a little knight called Ned, who always picked his toys up and who always made his bed. He was polite and kind and helpful. He nodded and he smiled. But in all the village, Ned was still the only child. When asked to do the cleaning up, yes, is what he said. When asked to fetch the firewood, he would rush off to the shed. When asked to pick the cabbages, Ned wouldn't whine or stress. He always answered right away and always answered yes. And when each night the dragon came, swooping through the sky, the knights would holler, "Get inside!" And yes, Ned would reply. This happened each and every night. The dragon circled down and frightened all the grown-ups as she swept around the town. They'd rush inside their cottages. "Whew, that was close," they'd say. Then Ned would watch the dragon as she slowly flew away. He thought he heard the dragon sigh and give a little groan. Ned wondered, is she just like me? Perhaps she's all alone. But when Ned's parents said goodnight and told him bedtime, what Ned could say but, yes, of course, and off he'd go to bed. Until one morning Ned awoke and something strange occurred. When Mom said, "Son, please fetch the milk," Ned found a different word. He felt quite strange, all mad inside, and hot from top to toe. He shook his head from side to side, and then Ned answered,
"No."
His mom was shocked. She stood and stared as Dad came in to say, "Will you help me, Ned, my lad? The tournament's today." "Now can you find my shield?" he asked, "my arrow and my bow?" But Ned still felt all prickly, and so he answered,
"No."
Well, that was just the start of it. The nose came loud and fast.
"No."
Ned told the butcher when he wanted to walk past.
"No."
Ned told the baker when she wanted Ned to pay.
"No."
Ned told the fisherman, "We don't want fish today." His parents couldn't understand. What's gotten into Ned? They called him in. It's time to eat, but
No.
Ned shook his head.
No.
Suddenly, Ned heard a whoosh and saw a flash of light. The dragon with her shiny teeth came soaring through the night. The knights all shouted, "Get inside! Quick! Hurry, Ned!" they said. But Ned clenched up his fist so tight and,
"No!"
yelled Ned. The dragon circled in the sky, then landed on the ground. Hands on hips, Ned waited, but the dragon made no sound. So Ned walked slowly up to her and poked her on the toe. "You're supposed to roar," Ned said. The dragon whispered, "No. I'm so fed up of roaring, and I'm feeling lonely too." "I wonder," asked the dragon, "is there room to stay with you?" Ned looked quite uncertain, and he nearly answered no. But when he saw the dragon's tears, his no began to go. He didn't feel so prickly. His anger was no more. He felt a little brighter, sort of lighter than before. Then Ned looked at the dragon, trying so hard to impress, and thought, there's just one thing to say. He told the dragon, yes. The dragon loved her brand new home. She liked playing with Ned. She even loved her jobs, like fetching firewood from the shed. And if Ned felt bad-tempered, which he did once in a while, he'd go and find the dragon, who could always make him smile. Then sometimes Ned would hear a shout of bedtime from below, and mostly Ned would answer yes. But sometimes Ned said no.
Tune in next time, where next month we celebrate all things Dr. Seuss. I'm Mrs. K.
And I'm Miss Heidi.
See you next time.